Welcome back to my podcast. I'm Ian McCormack. I continue my story. The next morning, I got up and prepared myself breakfast. My friends came in from their morning surf and began talking to me. I began seeing that what they were saying wasn't what they were actually meaning. It confused me, as if I was hearing two different messages. I began to see through their masks. For the first time in my life, I was beginning to see things in a new light. I could see that the intents of their hearts were totally contrary to what was coming out of their mouths. It was frightening for me because I didn't know how to react to that kind of understanding. So I retreated to my bedroom and stayed there, seeing in a new light. That night I woke again in a cold sweat. Something nearby was scaring me. I turned my head to look, and to my horror, the demons I had seen last night were now in my bedroom, looking at me through my mosquito net. Yet for some reason they couldn't get to me. They were intimidating me, but they couldn't actually get to me. In my heart I had a deep peace. I knew I had seen the light of God, and that light was now in me. No matter how small the flame was, it was in me, and they couldn't come in. But they were certainly trying to terrify me and get me back. I grabbed my flashlight again. This time I was afraid to get out of bed to turn on the light because they were in my room. I didn't know what power they had. I flashed the light madly around the room, leapt out of bed and dashed to the light switch. With the light safely on, I fell to the floor on my knees. I battled with my mind, all over again, just trying to keep my sanity. Again I prayed the Lord's Prayer, and then I went back to sleep. There were 2 more nights to go before I was to fly out of Mauritius to New Zealand. The next night I was woken by a tapping on my window. It was a girl saying, "Ian, I want to talk to you, let me in." As I knew the girl, I thought nothing of it. Half asleep, I walked to the door and unlocked it. The moment I opened the door, she grabbed it and I saw her eyes. I could see the same red tinge in her eyes that I had seen in the eyes that had haunted me for the last 2 nights. She began to speak in perfect English. She was Creole and had never spoken perfect English. She said, "You are coming with us tonight, Ian. We're going to take you somewhere." Then I heard other footsteps coming. I tried to pull the door closed, but it was as if this girl had gained a supernatural strength and I couldn't move it. Then out of my heart came the words, "In Jesus' name, go." She reeled backwards, as if she had been punched in the chest. As I watched her recoil back up, I slammed the door in her face and locked it. I was trembling, but safe for the meantime. Finally, it was my last night, and I was all packed and ready to go. A taxi was coming for me at 5 a.m. I went to sleep, but was woken in the night, this time by stones hitting the window. It was the girl again. I was prepared and had locked the doors, but I had left a small window open. I thought, whatever these creatures are, they are out to kill me, and they are using humans to do it. I was about to jump up and shut the window when a big black arm came through it and flicked the latch. I heard the girl softly saying, "Ian, we want to talk to you, come out." I was pretending to be asleep, and the stones came on the windows again. This time she was louder, "Ian, come out." Then heavier stones began coming right through the window, and she was angry now. "Ian, come out." I turned suddenly and saw a spear coming through the open window towards me. I grabbed my flashlight. The best form of defense is attack, I thought, and I shone the flashlight into the spear wielder's eyes. There was that red tint again. I leapt up, screaming for all I was worth, grabbed his spear and thrust it back at him so he lost its hold. I threw it out the window and slammed the window shut. Quickly, I shone the flashlight outside on 3 men and a woman. They cowered away like dogs about to be stoned. What amazed me was how afraid of the light they were. I was so disturbed that I stayed awake the rest of the night, waiting for the taxi to come, but it never came. I woke my surfing friends and asked if they would go find a taxi for me. They found it incapacitated. Someone had thrust steel rods through its radiator in the night. It was the only taxi in town, and my friend had to go to the next town to get a taxi for me there. Thanks for listening today. Please stay with me as I take you through that journey. one that shaped my life. See you tomorrow.